It is time to switch gears. It is time to talk Aaron Brown about the U.S. Championships. This to me is so damn dramatic, okay? It is, I used to say when I used to race, I am so glad I'm Canadian, okay? I'm so glad I'm over here and not there because they have to like duke it out. I don't know about you. That's
For
how
multiple reasons.
For
Proud to be a Canadian.
very true. Noah Lyles, in particular, is in a unique position. So he's the reigning world champion in the 1 and the 2. So he gets a lane in Tokyo in both events. At the U.S. trials, he's entered in both the 1 and the 2, but likely only running the 200. He's kind of said like that's too many rounds in 4 days, too many rounds in his legs in 4 days. But how do you feel about him being the 4-time national champion at 200 meters? He said he doesn't believe in giving up titles. He said, I earned that title. Somebody's got to take it from me if they want it. So, AB, are you in or out on Noah's mentality of defending his title, despite the fact that he doesn't really need to be there? He doesn't need to be doing all that. I mean, he has to show fitness and stuff, but you know what I mean? He's good.
Yeah, so I actually love this mentality. So I am in.
I know you would.
Noah Lyles is many things, and he might rub some people the wrong way. Maybe a lot of people, especially WNBA or NBA Twitter. Um, but in this case, I love it. You know, you're a competitor, and you don't want to just give somebody that competitive edge of saying, "I'm the American champion." He's like, no. That's my title, and I'm not going to let you just skate in and get it scot free. And a lot of people who have the bye might just take it as an opportunity to rest, to say, let me not risk it. Let me save face. But he's like, no, let me mix it up. Let me get some more races. He hasn't raced a lot this year. Let me get sharp. And if you want this title, come and get it out of my cold, dead hands. So I love it. And I wish we had more of that competitive mentality permeating through the track and field world in this generation.
Yeah, that's so true. I do think also it's his sentiment for sure, but I think what you just said is key. He hasn't raced a lot, so why wouldn't he go into that hotbed and try and get race sharp, right? So, and you're right. Do you want to be the 200 champion if Noah Lyles is not there? Is there an asterisk beside that? You make a good point.
Yeah, come earn it. Right. Speaking of someone who has always earned it and loves to mix it up, she's a world record holder and someone that we're always checking for. American Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, a 2-time Olympic champion, has broken the world record 6 times in the 400-meter hurdles, but now she's moving on to the flat 400, where she's the second fastest American woman in history at a time of 48.74, and the 6th fastest in the world this year at 49.43. That actually has her as the 4th fastest American going into trials. Pretty impressive stats for an event she rarely runs. So Perdita, are you in or out on Sydney mixing things up and going for that team in the 400-meter flat?
I am all the way in, and you know
Yes.
I'm in. Listen, I think this is me just, I talk off the cuff. She's bored, man. Like, she's done. What else is she going to prove to us in the 400-meter hurdles? Bob Kersey is bored, okay? He's been training her. Like, they need a new challenge, a challenge. They need something else to do. I also believe, and this was something that someone had said to me through the grapevine like a while ago, she wants to take down Sanya Richard-Ross's American record. I think it's 48.70. She's 48.74. She's knocking on the door. She wants to do that. So here's the other thing, too. If I'm Femke Bol, if I'm Dilla Muhammad, and I'm going to the world, wanting to be at the World Championships, I'm just, right? Like, your potential medal is respectfully, because you can only race who's there, but it's a little easier. It's not going through, the Olympic champion 2 times. It's not going through the world record holder how many times? Like, I love it for me. I love it for them. Now, back to the 400 meters. Maybe the American record isn't her goal. Could it be the world record overall? I mean, this thing is ancient. It's really old. So I like it. I think mentally she wants a new challenge. This is where she needs to go. And I think she knows she can get the American record, but she has to be in a really hot situation to do it. And so I actually think it's going to go down this year. And it's from 2006.
I love it so much just because we're going to finally get to see Sydney versus Mary Lady Paulino and Nasser, and we're going to see who's actually the baddest in the 400-meter flat. And wouldn't it be poetic if in the last year of your career, Dilla Muhammad goes out and wins another title? I'm just saying.
I love what you're saying. I love everything that you're saying. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Wait, you think Sydney can beat those girls in the 400 meters? Is that what you're saying? I know this is in and out and not predictions, but what are you saying, friend?
Yeah. My pick is Paulino. I got all the respect for her, and I think that a lot of people have attributed the gold to Sydney because she's so dominant and such a GOAT type athlete that they just say, yeah, she could do anything. She can drop down to the 4 or win that easily. She could drop down to the 2 and win that. She can walk on water and this and that. And yes, Sydney is that girl. But let's put some respect on Marilita Paulino. She did run 48-17 to win the Olympic title last year, and I definitely have her picked to win in Tokyo.
That's true. Can I just say, though, in Sydney's defense, not that I'm saying that your pick is not great, but she hasn't really got that race patterning down yet. She's still stuck in that 400-meter hurdle rhythm. I do feel like if she gets that 400-meter rhythm and like times it properly, she's dangerous. She's dangerous. So, Mirror Lady, girl, watch your back, girl. Yeah. But anyways, next case.
Well, she's a GOAT. And let's see how she responds. It's definitely, I got my popcorn ready.
Fair. We might put a wager on that, put a coffee on that. I'm a flat white girl, as we tell you off camera. Reigning 100-meter world champion Sha'Carri Richardson has struggled with consistency this season after suffering an injury that delayed the start of her season. This was back in February. She has yet to go sub-11 seconds this season and finished last in the 100 meters at Pre just a few weeks ago. AB, she's automatically in the 100 meters in Tokyo because she's the world champion, but she still needs to qualify for the 2. And if you remember a few weeks ago, our friend was on here, Addo Bolden came on. We got so many views because of Addo, okay? And us too, but Addo was on the show. Anyway, Sha'Carri needs to have a better start is what Addo said to be competitive in Tokyo. So AB, are you in or are you out on the urgency around Sha'Carri's performance as trials? Or do you think there is still time? And just say, before you answer, she's your training partner, so I know there's a bit of, But anyways, the floor is yours.
Yes. She is my training partner. But surprisingly, I am actually in around her having a little sense of urgency for this meet. So the reason for that, we did have Otto on the show, and he said that she didn't have a ghost of a chance pretty much of beating Melissa Jefferson Wooden or Julian Alfred. And it sounded like he didn't even have her on the podium at all, maybe not even making the finals. Like he was all the way out on Sha'Carri.
Yeah, he was.
I am definitely not going that far. And I still give her a chance to mix it up with the best women in the world because she's such a generational talent. And when she finds her rhythm, she can mix it up with the best. And she's shown that in the past. Yes, she can be a little volatile sometimes with the performances and you never know what you're going to get. But when she's locked in and focused, when she puts in that work, when she's not injured, she has the talent to do whatever she wants. And I definitely feel like this is the meet to show, yes, I still can turn this season around and mix it up with the top women in the world. It has been Melissa Jefferson Wooden season, especially dominating, beating 2 Olympic champions in their own field from last year, Julian Alfred in the 100 and then Gabby Thomas in the 2. So Melissa Jefferson Wooden is that girl right now. And she's also my training partner, so she's going to be that woman going into Tokyo. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But I'm not counting out Sha'Carri either. And I think if she comes into trials, puts down a good performance, gets down into the 10-8 lows, maybe even dips into the 10-7s once again, we're cooking with grease or oil or whatever the saying is. Yeah, fire. Something. Yeah, we got something cooking up. That's all I'm trying to say.
With avocado oil. Tokyo. Yeah.
Yeah. No seed oils. We're trying to be healthy in 2025.
No coconut oil either because that's a lot of
beef tallow. We're cooking with beef tallow.
There we go. Let me say this as an aside. If you were my training partner and you were my friend, what you just said would just good. Yes. I don't disagree with you at all. I think Sha'Carri is such a generational talent that she still has time to turn this around, but she has to turn it around soon. When someone's in your same training camp, I think sometimes that could be hard. I know my biggest rivals weren't all, well, they were, but not all of them breathing down my neck in practice. You got to see them, you got to interact. So I think that might be difficult, just, me thinking, but there is time. And again, she has a lane. So she can just train through it and do what she needs to do. So we'll have to see what happens there.
And I'll add this real quick. Sometimes when you have the person who's the it moment girl in your training partner, you get to measure her and see how she's running.
True.
You kind of get a sense, okay, this is what I got to do. This is how I have to form my race pattern to be competitive with her. Yes. And then you slowly start to gain confidence as you can work on it every day in training. Because if she beats you, hey, you already beat me in the race. It is what it is. But if I get close and closer and closer, now you start to build confidence. And you don't have to wait till the race to do that.
That's
true. Like she's not going to see Julian on a day in, day out basis. She's probably only going to see her at the championships. But she's got Melissa to track, and iron sharpens iron. So watch out for Sha'Carri. That's all I'm going to say.
You see where you stack up. I feel like you just told us something. I feel like you're just telling us a little something without telling us. You got a front row seat, friend. That's all I'm saying. So, okay,
Just
good to
just just
know.
just get your television sets ready
Ooh,
and just watch the show. That's all I'm
I,
gonna say.
I believe you. Melissa and Shakari, they're ready. That's what you, listen, I'm going to leave it there. All right, we got to keep this U.S. trials conversation going. And we have brought in basically an encyclopedia of everything track and field to help us. His name is Anderson Emerole of The Final Leg on YouTube. Welcome to Trackside. We love your show, and we're so glad you made time for ours.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have been crushing it. Like huge fans. Y'all have been taking over, I feel like the track and field game. So shout out to both of y'all.
Appreciate it. We're starting off the interview great, and I want to say likewise. I always check out for your channel unless I'm about to run because I don't want to see any predictions. But I've always admired your content. You're very analytical and thoughtful, and not just throwing out hot takes just for the sake of it. But let's get into trials in the U.S. I got my eye on that 800 meters. Honestly. Most people would expect me to just focus on the sprints, but that 800, man, they got 14 people who have run sub 145 this year. Do you think that's going to be one of the best races of the championships?
I think undoubtedly, like this is the year of the 800 across around the world, but like even more specifically in the United States, where you have Bryce Hoppel and Josh Hoey kind of leading the game as maybe like I would say the two favorites. They've both run 142. Bryce Hoppel, of course, coming off the fourth place at the Olympics. I think those two are probably the leaders. I'd be surprised if they didn't make the team, but then behind that, you have a whole host of just so many different guys, right? Donovan Brazier is making a comeback. He's coming off his first Diamond League in years after injury, and he's in the conversation. I mean, you have Brandon Miller, made the Olympic team last year, and he's right in the conversation. Shane Cohen, you have a bunch of guys who are really in the hunt for a spot to this World Championship team. But I'd say Josh Hoey, Bryce Hoppel, those are the two I'm looking at. And then, I don't know, flip a coin and you could see who makes that third spot.
I love that. Flip a coin. They're going to have to do that. They really are. Let's talk quickly about the women's version of the 800 meters. Does Athingmo Nikolaev make it onto this team? I got to say, as a fan of her, a fan of the event, I'm a little worried about where she's at.
Yeah, and it's like she's one of my favorite athletes over the past couple years, just because of the way that she runs, her consistency and dominance. But this year, it's been a little tricky. I know she hasn't raced as much, and coming off of what happened last year, where she got tripped up at the Olympic trials, I think there's been some question marks on how she is performing now. Her last race, she did run too flat, but the thing that I think about with Athingmo is like she's the American record holder for a reason. She's run 154, and I don't think anyone is able to go with her if she actually does tap into that. Now, the question is, will she be able to do it? Not 100% sure, but I know all of us will have our eye on her to see what she actually is able to do.
Absolutely. So we did get some earth-shattering news recently when the Olympic champion Quincy Hall pulled out, assumably with injury. So he won't be in the field. That leaves the 400 meters on the men's side pretty wide open. Do you think last year's breakout teen star and this year running even better, Quincy Wilson, another Quincy, has a chance to go ahead and make the individual team and not just be a relay guy this year?
Absolutely. He has the shot too. Now, different question on if he actually will. But even when you say like he's a breakout star, it's like I feel like every year he keeps breaking out and
it's incredible.
It's crazy, right? I mean, he's already run 44.1, which puts him right like he's almost on the cusp of sub 44. Yeah. And even with Quincy Hall out, I think the field is just that much more competitive, where now we're focusing in on Quincy Wilson, who's going to be mixing it up with guys like Chris Robinson or Ja'Cory Patterson or Bryce Steadman, all guys who have been, really strong contenders. I think Quincy Wilson has a shot, but it's really tough to say. The one thing I will say about Quincy, though, is I feel like he's running with nothing to lose, right? Like he's not one of these professional athletes where he's out there, with a contract or whatever. Like he's going to school again, right? In the fall. So everyone else, this is like their big shot. Quincy Wilson with nothing to lose, that might make him more dangerous relative to even previous years.
You're right. He has to study for calculus exams and physics and all that kind of stuff, right? You got to do stuff. So I get some slack, okay, for being the co-host of this show. And I never talk about the 100-meter hurdles. We're going to change that right now because I'm going to throw you a 100-meter hurdles question. So The top 3 women in the world right now are all American. Of course, Messiah Russell, Olympic champion, Tia Jones, who I believe is injured, and then also Grace Starks. And then Alicia Johnson, I think she's like top 7, 7th in the world. She just put down a 12-3. This is such a hard event to talk about because anything can happen, as I know. But for you, how do you see that event? To me, it's kind of wide open still.
It is still wide open. I think there's been some different things that have occurred throughout the year where Masai Russell, of course, got the American record earlier, but she got an injury. So she's been dealing with some setbacks. She'll be there, and I think she's going to be in that conversation. But then you have Grace Stark, who I think Grace has maybe been more consistent. If I was to pick one person, she's probably been the most consistent across the board in totality. But then, like you said, you have Alicia Johnson. You have even Aaliyah Armstrong. People forget Aaliyah Armstrong made the world championship team in 2022 and finished 4th place in that final. She's someone who's kind of like having another resurgence right now. It really is. I don't know. I'm like copping out here. I don't know if I can like say someone's like really like I'm not picking a team, but I'd say maybe Grace Stark is the most consistent. But again, it's wide open.
I'm just going to throw out another name out there too is Tania Marshall, who's my training partner. So I'm obviously biased and I'm going to be pulling for her. But alas, the point remains that the field is very competitive. And also on the men's side, that's going to be equally as competitive. And we have no idea what's going to happen. Grant Holloway, he has the bye. Who knows if he's going to run all the way through. But after that, who knows what the team will look like. There's about 4 to 6 guys who could all vie for those 3 spots. What's your prediction with that? Guys like Trey Cunningham and the kid from college, Thorpe, and Tinch. It's just crazy. Freddie Crittenton. It's who do you got, man?
Dude, I don't know what's up with these hurdles. From the women to the men, it's just like everyone is just out here running so frequently and just making it hard for us who have to like analyze this stuff. It's ridiculous. But here, Trey Cunningham looks very, very good. I mean, speaking of Grant, who has a wild card, he's the only guy to beat Grant Holloway this year, early in the season, but he's been very consistent. He's run 13 flat a couple times this year. I'd say he's, again, maybe the most consistent, but then Cordell Tinch has run 1287. Like, he's literally number 4 in history. It's like, how can you say he's not going to, pop something off like that? So he's been good. And then shout out to Dylan Beard. Dylan Beard has had a very, very good season. He's coming off a few personal bests this year. He's been like on a run and everything. So it's, again, this is
Daniel Roberts too.
Didn't even say
Olympic silver medalist.
Olympic silver. Like, how are we going to keep him out? Even Freddie Crittenton, he was 6th place at the Olympics. It's like there's so many guys who can really show up, and I love the fact that it is so competitive, and we don't even know exactly what's going to happen. It just makes it even more fun.
Yeah. This is why we watch. So we're going to end with this, and I love watching the final leg because Aaron said it well, that you have your predictions and you back them up with facts and interesting details. You're not just going off of emotion or just to, put something out there. So I want to ask you, let's start with the women. Who is making this team in the 100 and the 200? No cop-outs. You're putting it out there right now, Anderson. I know we're doing this to you. This is so mean. Feet to the fire. This is so mean of us. But I'm going to ask you, who's making the team in the 1 and the 2? And we're doing women. Let's start with the women's 1.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
This is wild because like I wanted to wait until like next week or something like a day before or something like to make. But if I had to pick the one, I think we can all agree Melissa Jefferson Wooden, she is to me the clear favorite. She might mess around and win the gold medal at the World Championships. She's already done her thing, run 10-7 a couple times. She's beat the Olympic champion. That is a foregone conclusion. After that, I think Jaysa Sears is probably the most consistent American in recent weeks. She ran 10-8 at the Prefontaine Classic. It was in a different heat than Melissa did, but I like her consistency this year. And she went to the Monaco Diamond League and finished behind Julian. So I like her on the team as well. This for me is where it gets so tricky. I'm gonna hurt somebody. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with Tanisha Terry. I'm gonna pick. Yeah, I know Aaron's gonna be happy about it because yes, the thing about TT is even though, she's run 10.85 this year, she hasn't had as much consistency, but she knows what to do when it comes to USAs. Last year, she wasn't doing well. I don't even think people were looking at her throughout the season. She came up to the Olympic trials and made that team. She's made the team in 2022. She's, I think, one of the more experienced athletes and has that kind of race IQ that she's going to show up here. Again, it hurts me because I'm leaving out like Aaliyah Hobbs or Tamari Davis. It's like, but Melissa, Jasis, TT, that's who I'm going with.
Okay, and the 2.
Oh, man, I was hoping you forgot. So I was trying to let it go.
I know
All
you
right,
did.
200. Similar situation. I feel it's a little closer, but Gabby Thomas, I think she's the class of the field. We know that the USA's or Olympic trials, whatever it is for the United States, she's going to show up and she's thinking about, I want to get a gold medal at World Champs, even more so than, of course, getting this win at USA. So Gabby Thomas, I think, is consistent. I'm going to put Mackenzie Long in this conversation.
Yes.
She made the Olympic team last year, and she's already run sub 22 seconds. She had a slower start to the season, but she's progressively gotten better. So I like where she is at, and I feel like that Olympic experience is going to help her. Then this is, again, where it gets very tricky. I'm teetering between Melissa Jefferson Wooden and Navia Battle. And Navia has been crushing it on the Diamond League all year. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to put Melissa in that third, which is crazy. Now, I don't know if it's crazy, but like, you know, yeah. she beat out Gabby Thomas.
She beat Gabby, yeah.
Yeah, she beat out Gabby. She's run sub 22 seconds. So, and I feel like her confidence level is on 10,000 right now. She is like, I am ready to just go to USA's, execute, deliver, and then get my spot for the World Championships.
Yeah, and I think her job would be easier. She's made the 100 team first, right? Then you just kind of are more chill to make that second team. So I think you got it right.
Yeah, I know I'm making you happy, Aaron. I got Melissa on and TT, so hey.
I like it.
All right, let's start with the men's 200 meters.
Oh, man. All right. We're just going right into it. This is
You watch the show, you know how we do.
Yeah, we get right to it. But you can amend your picks on your show, but we need something for ours.
No, he lock it in too like you. What do you mean? No? it stays. And when you do your show next week, we'll be watching.
Oh, all right. So men's 200 was what we're looking at now?
Yeah.
All right. So Noah Lyles, luckily, I think this makes it good for the team. Noah Lyles has a wild card. So there's an extra spot for someone to go to the World Championships. I think behind there, to me, it's impossible to say Kenny B is not the front runner to solidify a spot for this team. I think, we'll talk about the 100 in a second. Coming off the 100, it might be a more confident, he might be very confident to get this 200. And I think he wants to continue to assert his dominance that he's been showing through the year. And USA's is a perfect spot for that. So Kenny B, he's on my team. Yep. After that, I don't know. I might have to move down to Florida with Star Athletics. I'm putting Courtney Lindsay on that team. Like, Courtney is also very consistent this year. Prefontaine Classic, second place to Let's Sile in that 200, and he made the team in 2023. So he has experience going to the World Championships. I like where he's at going into these into USA's. And then the third spot, I don't know if this will be a surprise, but I have Robert Gregory. Now, he hasn't been as, I guess, like widely known over the past couple years, but he had a good race at Prefontaine. He finished pretty well amongst that field, I think 4th place. Also, he went to the Tokyo Continental Tour. He beat out Andre DeGrasse in that race. 2023, he just missed the team. I think he finished 4th or 5th place. So Robert Gregory is someone who I feel like is on the rise this year and is developing some more consistency. But I could be completely wrong. But those are my 3. Kenny, Courtney, Robert, I'm sticking with it.
Nice. 10 toes down. Okay, hundreds.
Hundreds. All right. So I'm going to give you top 2 for now, and then we'll talk about the third guy. Kenny B, Trayvon Bromell. Those are my 2. I feel like they are, in my opinion, far and above the rest of the guys when talking about the 100-meter field for the United States. They've both run 9.8. Kenny 9.86, Trayvon 9.84. And specifically for Kenny, like I said in the 2, I feel like he wants to reassert and just prove his dominance and consistency in the 100. I feel like he's been disrespected as a 100-meter guy. Like, people kind of overlook him. He made the Olympic team last year, but it's like, this guy has been running consistent. So Kenny and then Trayvon coming back after multiple years of injury, and he is looking like he is on fire now. He doesn't just want to get on this team. He wants to get on the podium once again. So Kenny, Trayvon, that's what I'm looking at. Now, 3rd place, I'm going back and forth a little bit on this, but I'm gonna give this to Braden Hicklin. I like Braden Hicklin.
Who else were you going back and forth with, though? Who else?
I'm going back and forth with Fred Curley because Fred Curley is one who may not even have a great season, but he will show up at USA's. He'll show up at Worlds or Olympics. Like, he knows how to show up when it matters. But I feel like Braden Hicklin is on another level of confidence this year. He's run sub 10 a couple times. People were paying attention to Kashane Thompson, Zarnell, and Trayvon, but at the Prefontaine Classic, Brandon was right behind. He was right behind. He's beat out a few of the other Americans. I feel like this is the year that Brandon, and he was at Grand Slam track in Miami and on a kind of last minute call, and he got placed in the field. He did very well there. I gotta go with Brandon. Brandon Hickman is my third spot, but I could be wrong. Fred Curley is dangerous, man. He's dangerous. So that's my team though.
You're never going to be wrong picking Star Athletics.
I feel like people are going to think that, y'all brought me in for a reason today.
Did Aaron pay you off to say that about all his teammates? That's what they're going to say.
Hey. I'll say this. I have a lot of similar takes to you in terms of your picks. So you're onto something. Great minds think alike, something along those lines. But I'll say it's very tough to pick people in this business and be a podcaster and put out takes and stand on it. But when you back it up with facts, how can they really argue? So that's why I always appreciate your takes and masterclass again. So I appreciate that.
That's what it is. Got to stand on it.
Remember, the final leg. I was asking you what leg, the 4x4, the 4x1, all the legs. Anderson, thank you.
All the legs. Thank y'all so much.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.